India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. Over here, all the classes are 100% live and interactive classes. If you have any sort of doubt, any clarification, you can ask to your teacher in the classes only, and the teacher will explain everything in the class, right? Secondly, we give personalized attention to each and every student. Now, in our batches, maximum 6 students are there, not more than that. It may be a student batch or 2 student batch, and maximum 6 students are there, which will help the students to ask any sort of doubt, clarify everything, and it also help us to keep an eye on each of the students, how they are doing, how they are performing in the class as well as in the homework. Hi Mamta, how are you? Okay. Now coming to the third thing, that is we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously track on the students' progress, how you were doing in the homework, classwork, in which topic you were totally prepared, which topic you were lagging. So according to that, you will get the progress report and the feedback, and that will help you to mm, definitely improve yourself, right? And now coming to the fourth and the most important thing, that is we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. So like you have any sort of topic which is going on in your school and you are having it in your half yearly exam or any final exam or maybe in the class test, so you can tell it to us. We will go with those topics first and then we will move on to the rest of the topic. This type of custom request generally we handle. Okay, so all these features are basically focusing on your improvement and your knowledge, your improvement in your academics, right? Now coming to the uh, basically coming to the key features. So first, our key feature is the detailed progress report. We maintain a progress report of each and every student, and accordingly in certain interval you will get this progress report. According to that, PTM will also be there. जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी PTM होता है, इधर भी PTM होता है. तो in this PTM definitely you will be able to interact properly. Your parents can ask any sort of doubt if they have, and definitely we will give you the feedback. आप कैसे कर रहे हो, कैसे और भी अच्छे से improve कर सकते हो, and in which topic you were lagging, which topic, how, what are the different tricks which you should basically involve or you should practice so that you will never lose any marks in the board exam or school exam. So ये सारे feedback हम दे देंगे in the PTM, right? जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी PTM होता है. Coming to the second thing, that we have the SAT, that is the Swiflearn Academic Test Series, which happen in every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., where you will be able to perform and you can see what is your rank in on the leaderboard. Okay, so it happens all over the India, like the students of all over India perform over here. Now coming to the third and fourth thing, that is the most important, that you already know that practice makes a man perfect. So after going through any topic, you have to practice the question answers, right? Revising the question answers so that the total concept will be very much clear. And we have unlimited practice test. You can practice the different types of question, both subjective and objective. अभी objective में जैसे you get the MCQ type of question, filling the blanks, true, false, match the column, odd one out, and so on. Similar type of question will be there here also. And in case of the subjective test, that is very important, that you get like 3 mark or 5 mark question where you lose marks due to not writing properly, or you sometimes miss out some of the keywords, or sometimes you can miss certain marks due to not including the chemical equation or diagram like this, right? So we will definitely give you the tips and tricks how to write the subjective answer and get the full marks, so you will never lose any marks in the board exam also. And as you already know, you are all in class 10th, right? We are discussing our topic of class 10th, so you are in the board exam class. So this is very much important for you to practice writing question answer, mainly the broad questions and answer, how to write it, where to include the diagram, where to include the graph or chemical equation. It is totally specific for the different subjects. So all these things we will tell you, and this will help you to prepare yourself very nicely. Okay, you will never lose any marks in the board exam or the school exam. So to experience all these things, what you have to do, You have to book the free trial class. So all the classes are free of trial classes are free of cost, definitely. So just book it now, any on your convenient time, and we can interact in the trial class, definitely. And then you can enroll your name in our regular batches. Our regular batches, as you already know, 6 students maximum रहता है, और हम बहुत अच्छे से कोई भी टॉपिक को डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, right? Yes, all of you are ready for today's session. And those who have not subscribed now, please subscribe now only and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming session. And also do not forget to like, comment, and share. Okay? Chalo, now let us move on to today's topic. Okay, so as I have already mentioned that today we will discuss about the transpiration chapter. Today is the second session of transpiration. We have already completed with the first session. In the first session, basically we discussed about what is transpiration, where does it take place. Basically, it is a sweating type of thing, like the sweating takes place in the human body. Similarly, the loss of water takes place in the plant body by the process of transpiration, right? This we have already discussed, and also we discussed that what are the different experiments related to transpiration, or the experiments which proves that transpiration takes place through the green leaves, right? So these are the all the different things which we have already discussed in the previous session. Now, let us see what today we will discuss. Today in this session, we will mainly discuss about the different types of transpiration. Mainly, what are the different types? Mainly, 3 types of transpiration are there: stomatal, lenticular, and cuticular transpiration. So, these 3 types of transpiration we will study in detail, and then we will move on to the different factors which are affecting the rate of transpiration. ट्रांसपीरेशन के रेट को जो डिफरेंट फैक्टर्स अफेक्ट करते हैं, जैसे इंटरनल फैक्टर्स भी हो सकते हैं जो प्लांट्स के अंदर है, या फिर कोई एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स भी हो सकते हैं जो इन्वायरमेंट में है, राइट? सो वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट व्हाट आर दीज फैक्टर्स व्हिच बेसिकली upon which the rate of transpiration basically depends upon. Okay, so let us now start with today's session. Before going to today's session, let me see how many of you have already remember what we have discussed in the previous session. It's very easy. I'll ask you a very simple question. In your own word, just tell me what is transpiration. Write it in the chat box. I hope that you already know that whoever will give me most of the answer correctly, he or she will be the student of the session, and I will write your name on the screen at the end of the session. Right? Okay. So as you already know that we do sweat, like sweating takes place from our body, which takes place due to the sweat glands which are present under the skin, and this takes place basically during the summer days, right? When the humidity is very high in the atmosphere. Similarly, the similar loss of water takes place in the plant body also, and that process is known as transpiration, which basically require a very delicate balance between all the different metabolic processes which are taking place in the plant, as well as the transpiration process, right? So how will you define this transpiration in your own word? It may be a proper definition, it may be on your own word you can explain. Can you please explain? Yes, in the chat box, let me see. I can see that many of you are listening to me. They are present in this session. So quickly tell me. Yes. So transpiration is nothing but this, we can say, the loss of water by the plants, right? This loss of water basically takes place through the aerial parts of the plant. We have already studied this. It basically takes place through the aerial parts of the plants. Now, what do you mean by this aerial part? We have already discussed this in the previous session. The parts of the plant which are in direct contact with air. The parts of the plant which is in direct contact with the air, it can be the stem or the leaves, right? So leaves and the stems are directly in contact with the air, the atmosphere, and that is why these are known as the aerial parts of the plant. Now ये transpiration aerial parts of the plant से होता है. जैसे आप इधर देखो, in this diagram we can see only the leaves and the stems are coming in contact with the air directly, right? तो definitely transpiration ये leaves और stems से ही होगा। अभी ये लीव्स और स्टेम के ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ तो रहेंगे जिसके लिए जहां वाटर लॉस होगा, राइट? मेनली ट्रांसपीरेशन इज नथिंग बट द लॉस ऑफ द excess water from the plant. Yes, so you can see over here basically the water is absorbed by the root from the soil, and then it will go through the xylem vessel towards the stem, and finally it will go to all the branches of the plant, and through the veins it will enter into the leaves, right? So the water, when they are going to the leaves as well as they are going upward through the stem, they are coming in contact with the air, right? The air is surrounding the plant body together. Now basically they present certain things in their aerial parts. They are the stomata, lenticels, and cuticles. Okay, these are the three different things which are present on the aerial parts of the plant, which make a direct contact with the air and helps in the process of transpiration. ये जो process of transpiration होता है, that is the loss of water, only takes place by these three things, which are stomata, lenticel, sorry, it will be CEL, lenticel, and cuticle. Okay, now let us focus on the different types of the transpiration. Jaise I have already mentioned that these takes place by the three main things, which are the aerial parts which are coming in direct contact with the air. These are the stomata, cuticle, and lenticel. So definitely the transpiration which is happening due to the stomata will be called as the stomatal transpiration. Yes, which is taking place through the cuticle will be called as the cuticular transpiration, and which is taking place through the lenticels are known as the lenticular transpiration, right? So we will study about each of this transpiration in detail, and we will also definitely see what is the structure of the stomata, cuticle, and lenticel, where are they present, and how they are basically helping in the process of transpiration. Fine. So let us start with the majority जहां से transpiration होता है वो है stomata. Okay, the major part of the transpiration takes place through the stomata. Hi Dev, how are you? Okay, so it is the evaporation of the water from the stomata of the plant. अभी stomata कहाँ रहता है? Yes, we have already seen in the previous experiments in the previous session. If we were absent in the previous session, please go with that session also. The video is available on YouTube channel of Swiflearn, and you will be able to understand better. Okay, so we have already proved by the different type of experiment, to be very specific, this cobalt chloride paper wala experiment कि stomata सबसे ज़्यादा रहता है lower surface of the leaves में, right? Do you agree with me? Now ये stomata दिखने में कैसे होता है? It basically is nothing but a pore. Okay, it is basically a pore which are present, very tiny pores which are present on the upper side and the lower side of the leaves. Lower side of the leaves में सबसे ज़्यादा स्टोमाटा रहता है, इसीलिए कोबाल्ट क्लोराइड पेपर को वो टोटली डार्क पिंक कलर में बदल कन्वर्ट कर दिया, remember. And ऊपर surface of the leaves में very little amount of stomata रहता है. So these pores are basically known as the stomata, and these pores are guarded by two bean shaped cells. What are these bean shaped cells called? Anybody? Yes, do you know what are these bean shaped cells called? ये रह गया पोर, और पोर को दो सेल्स गार्ड कर रहे हैं, तो इसीलिए इसको गार्ड सेल कहते हैं. Okay, these bean shaped cells are known as the guard cells, and now the guard cells will definitely be surrounded by the other epithelial cells. Okay, the upper epidermal cells. Okay, so these are the things, and basically we will mainly focus on the stomata, that is the pore जहां से transpiration होगा. Transpiration होगा मतलब water loss होगा in the form of the water vapor. Okay, got the idea where the stomata are present and what is the structure of the stomata? Abhi, this stomata, the opening and the closing of the stomata is basically dependent upon the thickness or how much water is present within the plant body. ठीक है. Now देखो इधर, whenever the guard cells are having much amount of water vapor, what will happen? The guard cell will become rigid, and when it is becoming rigid, it will become bent like this. और जब वो bend कर जाएंगे, the stomatal pore will open and the gaseous exchange as well as the water vapor exchange will take place. The loss of water will take place like this. This happens during the opening of the stomata. Basically, opening of the stomata takes place during the daytime. ठीक है. Now coming to the closing. अभी water loss तो हो गया. Water has gone out of the plant body and the guard cell has no more water in it or a very less amount of water in it. What will it happen? It will become flaccid. It will become loose and flaccid, and finally the stomata will close. Okay, so the stomata will be closed due to the flaccidity of the guard cell. Remember, so let me write it down quickly over here. During the opening of the stomata क्या होता है? Water enters into the guard cell. Guard cell में जब ज़्यादा पानी रहेगा, it will make it rigid, and due to the rigidity, the guard cell will bend, and due to the bending, the stomata will open. Clear है ना? Isn't it very simple? Yes. Now what will happen to the closed stomata, or stomata close कैसे होगा? When there is removal of water or loss of water, what will happen? The guard cells will become flaccid. वो flaccid हो जाएगा. And finally loose हो जाएगा और bent को straight हो जाएगा. And finally what will happen? The stomata will be closed. Basically stomata closed रहता है during the night time. Okay, so got an idea how the water, the amount of water in the guard cell basically maintain the opening and the closing of the stomata? Yes, got it. So now we will see that most of the dominant part of the transpiration takes place through this stomata. मतलब सबसे ज्यादा water loss हमारे stomata से ही होता है. तो अभी कितना rate का stomata water loss stomata से होता है? Like whatever water is absorbed by the plant, only 2% is needed for the photosynthesis and other metabolic process, right? And definitely, good afternoon, Ronak. And definitely other 98% of the water get lost of the plant's body. अभी ये 98 percentage में 90 to 95 percentage of the water loss takes place through the stomata only. तो stomatal transpiration सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. Understood? So the transpiration takes place through the stomata will be the maximum. देखो 90 to 95% of the water loss takes place through the stomata, and only 5 to 10% will take place through the cuticle and the lenticule. Got it? तो हमारे तो तीन तरीके का ट्रांसपिरेशन है, स्टोमाटल ट्रांसपिरेशन, क्यूटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन एंड लेंटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन. अभी लेंटिक्यूलर और क्यूटिक्यूलर बहुत कम होता है, उधर वाटर लॉस बहुत कम होता है, मे बी फ्रॉम 2 to 5% of the water loss takes place. Okay, and definitely stomatal transpiration सबसे ज़्यादा हो रहा है, that is 90 to 95% of the water loss takes place through the stomatal transpiration. Okay, yes Ronak, we are doing transpiration chapter which is there in class 10th syllabus of ICSE board. Now coming to the stomata. Stomata is nothing, stomata है singular word and stoma hai plural word. So we can see over here the stomata are present. Yes, so stoma are nothing but the different pores which are present on the leaves and continuously opening and the closing of the stomata. तो कैसे होता है, I've already shown you. Now during the daytime the plant need the carbon dioxide also. अगर carbon dioxide नहीं लेंगे तो वो photosynthesis कैसे करेगा? Right, do you agree? This carbon dioxide will enter into the plant body and the oxygen will go out of the plant body during the process of photosynthesis, right? So ये carbon dioxide लेने के लिए तो stomata को open करना ही पड़ेगा, and the excess amount of water at that time will get lost of the plant body through the stomata. अभी ये stomata कितना रहता है in one leaf? Yes, can you imagine that पर सेंटीमीटर क्यूब हम अगर देखेंगे ऑन द लीफ सरफेस, इफ आई सी जस्ट 1 सेंटीमीटर क्यूब में रहता है 1,000 to 10,000 numbers of stomata. Can you imagine? Yes, so इतना छोटा 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 pores रहता है plant के leaves में. Okay, now let us see the structure of the 3D view of the stomata. Okay. Yes. So as I have already mentioned, this is the stomata. You can see the opening and the closing of the stomata. Can you see this? Yes, the opening and the closing of the stomata. Let me tell you, these are basically the epidermal cells and two bean shaped cells आप जो देख रहे हो जहां opening and closing of the stomata हो रहा है. These bean shaped cells are known as the guard cells. और जो बीच में ये पोर देख रहे हो, this pore is known as the stomata. Clear? So got the idea what is the stomata and how the stomata, देखो कैसे stomata open or close हो रहा है, right? This is due to the presence, how much amount of water is present in the guard cell. Clear है up to this much? Yes? चलो. So let us now go back to our presentation. Okay, so we have already got an idea कैसे stomatal opening and closing होता है, and the stomatal transpiration is the most common type of transpiration, or 90 to 95% of the water loss takes place by this. So this is basically dependent upon the turgidity of the guard cell. जब वाटर गार्ड सेल में आ जाएगा इट विल बिकम टर्जिड, और टर्जिड हो जाएगा जब वो बेंड हो जाएगा, एंड ड्यू टू द टर्जिडिटी व्हेन इट बेंड्स द स्टोमाटा ओपन्स. Okay, and the gaseous exchange along with the water vapor, loss of water vapor will take place by this, and finally when the water vapor will go out of the plant body it will become flaccid, the guard cell will become flaccid and the stomata will be closed. Got it? How it is happening? Okay. Now, so the stomata opens when the guard cells are turgid and closes when it is flaccid. You have already got an idea. So the stomatal transpiration, water absorb, basically how it takes place, water is absorbed from the root, it is going to the stem, and finally it is moving to the leaves, or leaves mein rehta hai veins. So veins basically distribute the water to all over the leaves, and to the stomata the water go out of the plant body. Now we will mainly see how the water moves inside the leaves. You already have an idea that the leaves are having a special type of tissue that is known as the mesophyll tissue. You have already studied in the photosynthesis chapter, right? So can you tell me what are the two main or special type of cells which are present in the mesophyll tissue? Yes. Yes, upper epidermis के नीचे कौन सा cells रहता है? Both of them are the parenchyma type of cells, but the special type of parenchyma cells which are having more amount of chloroplast, ताकि वो बहुत अच्छे से photosynthesis कर पाएंगे. तो can you tell me the names of those cells? Yes, so the water will go through those cells just in the intercellular space, and finally it will escape through the stomata. So I will show you the picture of this mesophyll cell. So this is nothing but the cross section of the leaf which is showing the mesophyll cell. ठीक है, तो सबसे ऊपर रहता है एक waxy cuticle, then there is the upper epidermis, then there are present the two special type of cells. One is the palisade parenchyma, remember palisade parenchyma tissue we have studied, and the another one which is very loosely packed और सबसे ज़्यादा जहाँ intercellular spaces हैं उसको हम spongy parenchyma कहते हैं. Yes, so the spongy parenchyma is present in between. So the water molecule, whatever is absorbed by it, it will go through this portion of the spongy parenchyma. It will go through the intercellular spaces of this, and finally it will reach to the stomata. Okay, so ये जो आप देख रहे हो, these are the two guard cells and this is the pore, this is the stomatal pore through which the water will go out of the leaves, right? And the transpiration, that is nothing but the transpiration will take place through this leaving of the water. Clear hai na? Yes, so this is how the stomatal transpiration takes place through the leaves. Fine. Up to this much totally clear. Now let us move on to the cuticular transpiration. अभी cuticle कहाँ रहता है? Yes, this type of transpiration takes place through the cuticle. The cuticle is nothing but the waxy covering of the leaves. अभी leaves के ऊपर का जो layer होता है, the upper surface of the leaf, have you ever seen that it is waxy and like glossy in nature? Yes, this is all due to the presence of the cuticle. Okay, cuticle is the waxy layer which is present on the upper surface of the leaf, that is giving the bright shiny color of the green color of the leaves. ठीक है, अभी देखो ये cuticle is present, it is a just a layer which is a continuous layer. Okay, now this cuticle is not present only in the part where stomata is present and also in the part where lenticels are present. जहाँ lenticel और stomata रहता है सिर्फ उसी जगह में cuticles नहीं होता, otherwise the cuticle is a continuous layer on the leaves. Now, these cuticles are also responsible for the loss of water. So, water vapor directly diffuses out of the cuticles on the leaves, and basically, we can see this type of transpiration in the herbaceous stems. Okay, in the herbs, the different herbs. Fine. So always remember that it is a continuous cover and it is only discontinuous where the lenticels and the stomata are present, and the thickness also varies, like it depends upon the plant is present in a desert region or a dry condition or a colder region. So according to that, the layer of the cuticle, the thickness of the cuticle will also vary, and basically water loss takes place through this cuticle only by the in the form of वाटर वेपर, नॉट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर. ये क्यूटिकल वाटर को रिपेल करता है, ये टोटली एक ग्लॉसी वैक्सी कंडीशन वैक्सी लेयर है, तो ये वाटर को रिपेल करता है पर इट इज परमेएबल टू द वाटर वेपर. सो वाटर वेपर के लॉस को वो परमिट करते हैं. फाइन. Now let's move on to the third type of transpiration, that is the lenticular transpiration. अभी lenticels कहाँ रहता है? Mostly the lenticels are present in the stems. You can see this also in the potato. The potatoes are having this very small tiny pores which are always opened. Okay, ये always open pores रहता है which are known as the lenticels, and the lenticels बेसिकली bark of the trees में भी आप देख पाओगे. ठीक है, तो दे रिमेन ऑलवेज ओपन. जैसे इफ यू थिंक अबाउट द स्टोमाटा एंड द लेंटिसल, देन द फर्स्ट डिफरेंस विल कम कि स्टोमाटा can open and close. The opening and the closing of the stomata is regulated by a lot of different things, basically the water, presence of the water. But lenticels are those pores which are always opened, वो close कभी नहीं होता. Okay, they are always opened, and the type of transpiration which are done by the lenticels is also very less in amount, that will be 2 to 5% of the water loss takes place through the lenticels. Clear hai? Yes, so the loss of the lenticels as well as the cuticular transpiration is very low, 2 to 5% होता है इन दोनों में, but maximum like 90 to 95% of the water loss takes place through the stomatal transpiration. Okay, so lenticular transpiration is very common in case of the dry condition, जहाँ बहुत dry weather रहता है वहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा lenticels हम देख सकते हैं. Okay, and under this condition stomata generally closes and severely limiting the stomatal transpiration. limit कर जाते हैं उधर stomatal transpiration जहाँ सबसे ज़्यादा नहीं होता, उधर lenticular transpiration सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. Got it up to this much? Yes. Is there any question, any doubt? You can ask me in the chat box. Okay, now let us move on to the different factors which are affecting the rate of transpiration. Now, when we will talk about the factors. We will definitely discuss about the external and the internal factor. ठीक है, अभी एक्सटर्नल और इंटरनल फैक्टर के ऊपर कौन डिपेंड करता है? ट्रांसपीरेशन का रेट, नॉट द टोटल प्रोसेस, ओनली द रेट ऑफ द ट्रांसपीरेशन विल बी डिपेंडेंट अपॉन ऑल दिस फैक्टर. कुछ फैक्टर्स में क्या होगा, ट्रांसपीरेशन का रेट बहुत ज्यादा होगा, एंड when it is just the opposite, the transpiration rate will be slowed down. So we will discuss about all these external factors and the internal factors. Abhi, what do you mean by external factor? Anybody? Yes, quickly tell me in the chat box कि आपको क्या समझ में आ रहे हैं, एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर क्या हो सकता है? एक्सटर्नल मतलब कौन सी एक्सटर्नल के बात मैं बोल रही हूँ? यस, and also similarly tell me what can be the internal factors. What type of internal factors am I talking about जो transpiration के rate को like regulate करते हैं? Yes, quickly give me the answer, and as you already know, whoever will give me most of, like, the answer may be correct or wrong, it really doesn't matter. Just I want to see what type of view you have, or what is the imagination in you. Yes, quickly, Dev, Ronak, and somebody who are all watching my session, many of you are there, I can see. क्विकली टेल मी कि एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर का मतलब क्या है और इंटरनल फैक्टर का मतलब क्या है? अभी हम ट्रांसपीरेशन का एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर, इंटरनल फैक्टर मतलब हम क्या देखेंगे, कौन से फैक्टर एक्सटर्नल हो सकता है? यस, यस शाहिद, मोहम्मद शाहिद, यू कैन आल्सो से. एक्सटर्नल हम देख सकते हैं विच आर नॉट प्रेजेंट इन द प्लांट बॉडी, राइट? जैसे हम सनलाइट को देख सकते हैं, राइट? टेम्परेचर को देख सकते हैं. हाय ध्रुव. यस, विंड कंडीशन को देख सकते हैं. यस, और कुछ, ह्यूमिडिटी कितना है, टेम्परेचर मतलब एटमॉस्फेयर में, उसको हम कंसिडर कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो दीज विल ऑल बिकम द एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स, एंड वी विल सी हाउ दे अफेक्ट द रेट ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन. अभी इंटरनल फैक्टर्स को कुछ बोल सकते हो? यस, द पैटर्न ऑफ द लीव्स कैसे प्रेजेंट है प्लांट में, कितना वाटर प्लांट्स ले रहे हैं, राइट? व्हाट आर द लाइक अरेंजमेंट ऑफ द लीव्स, कैसे अरेंज्ड रहता है लीव्स, राइट? सो दीज आर द डिफरेंट इंटरनल फैक्टर्स. इंटरनल मतलब प्लांट के अंदर जो फैक्टर्स रहता है, दीज आर द इंटरनल फैक्टर्स ऑन विच द रेट ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन विल डिपेंड अपॉन. Right, now let us move on to one by one all the external factors. All these external factor is the presence of the sunlight, atmospheric pressure, the temperature, carbon dioxide, how much carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere, the availability of the soil, water, कितना water है soil में उसके ऊपर depend करता है, ज़्यादा फास्ट होगा या फिर स्लो होगा, देन द ह्यूमिडिटी एंड द वेलोसिटी ऑफ द विंड, राइट? स्टार्टिंग विद द सनलाइट. तो सनलाइट का इंटेंसिटी जब बहुत ज्यादा होगा, आपको क्या लगता है, ट्रांसपिरेशन ज्यादा होगा या फिर कम होगा? Yes, whenever there is bright sunlight in a very bright sunny day, so what do you think, that transpiration will be very high, the rate of transpiration सबसे ज्यादा होगा, or you think that the transpiration rate will be less? Yes, definitely ज़्यादा होगा. Why? Because if you think about a very good sunny, bright, sunny day, you will see that the opening of the stomata is taking place, right? Opening and closing of the stomata is taking place. बहुत अच्छे से gaseous exchange हो रहा है, photosynthesis हो रहा है. तो उधर जब stomata open हो रहा है, तो definitely transpiration ज़्यादा होगा, right? Compared to a cloudy day, and definitely if you compare to the night time, तो नाइट टाइम में क्या होता है, सनलाइट तो नहीं रहता, एंड डेफिनेटली दैट इज व्हाई द स्टोमाटा क्लोजेस. Yes, and due to the closing of the stomata, definitely the transpiration rate will be very much reduced, क्योंकि stomata से ही तो सबसे ज्यादा transpiration होता है ना? Yes, so on a cloudy day stomata partially open रहेगा तो transpiration थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा, and during the night time जब stomata totally close हो जाएगा तो transpiration most of the time मतलब 1% 2% transpiration हो सकता है through the cuticle and lenticels, but no transpiration will take place through the stomata because the stomata is closed. Now, can you tell me how this opening and the closing of the stomata depends upon the presence of the sunlight? Yes? Any connection coming to your mind? Anything? Just imagine, just think. Yes? कैसे ये opening and closing of the stomata sunlight के ऊपर कैसे depend करेगा? Yes? Because the leaves basically absorb सबसे ज्यादा energy, light energy from the sunlight to carry out the photosynthesis. अभी ये carry out करने के लिए उसको क्या चाहिए? Yes, उसको क्या चाहिए? सनलाइट के साथ साथ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड भी चाहिए, है ना? तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो लेंगे तो कहाँ से आएगा प्लांट्स के अंदर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड? बाय ओपनिंग द stomata, and that is how the sunlight is also helping the stomata to open during the daylight, okay, during the daytime. And definitely this due to the along with the gaseous exchange that is taking in carbon dioxide and giving out the oxygen due to photosynthesis, uh, loss of water will also takes place through the stomata. क्लियर है? बहुत ब्राइट सनी डे में सबसे ज्यादा वाटर इवेपोरेट हो जाएगा, एंड जितना ऊपर से इवेपोरेट हो जाएगा उतना पानी रूट एब्सॉर्ब करेंगे एंड वाटर विल गो थ्रू द स्टेम टुवर्ड्स द लीव्स, उतना पानी लीव्स में जाएंगे. फाइन. तो सनलाइट जब रहेंगे ड्यूरिंग द डे टाइम, डेफिनेटली ट्रांसपिरेशन विल बी मोर, rate of transpiration will be more than any cloudy day or during the night time. राइट. नाउ कमिंग टू द टेम्परेचर. अभी टेम्परेचर जब बाहर का हायर होगा तब इवेपोरेशन ज्यादा होता है, या फिर टेम्परेचर जब कम कूल रहता है ड्यूरिंग द विंटर टाइम तब इवेपोरेशन ज्यादा होता है? यस, डेफिनेटली टेम्परेचर जब बहुत ज्यादा है, आप अभी देखो कि समर टाइम में कंटिन्यूअसली द टेम्परेचर इज वेरी हाई इन द एटमॉस्फेयर एंड इवेपोरेशन बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है. वी आर ऑल्सो स्वेटिंग अ लॉट, राइट? इवेपोरेशन टेक्स प्लेस इन आवर बॉडी. प्लांट बॉडी में भी तो वैसे ही इवेपोरेशन होगा. more evaporation will take place and loss of water will be increased, right? तो transpiration का rate भी increase हो जाएगा, and when there will be very less temperature like low temperature or cold temperature, तब क्या होगा? Transpiration rate will be lowered. Clear? Let's now move on to the humidity. अभी देखो, अभी पहले ये बताओ कि humidity का मतलब क्या है? What do you mean by humid? What do you mean by humidity? हम ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, like most of the places which are there in the sea coast region, उधर सबसे ज़्यादा humidity रहता है, right? And whenever the places are away from the seaside, उधर का places में humidity कम रहता है, mainly mostly dry region होता है. Do you agree with me? Yes. Now, can you tell me what do you mean by this humidity? Yes, humidity is nothing but the amount of water vapor which is present in our atmosphere. ठीक है, कितना अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर वेपर हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर में है, हमारे एयर में है, दैट इज द ह्यूमिडिटी. जब ज्यादा रहेगा तो वी विल डेफिनेटली से कि ह्यूमिडिटी ज्यादा है, मॉइस्चर ज्यादा है, दैट इज व्हाई वी स्वेट आउट. ओके, बट इफ यू थिंक अबाउट द ड्राई रीजन, तो ह्यूमिडिटी विल बी लेस व्हेन देयर इज वेरी लेस अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर वेपर प्रेजेंट इन द सराउंडिंग. ठीक है. नाउ व्हाट डू यू थिंक, जब ये ह्यूमिडिटी ज्यादा है तब ट्रांसपिरेशन का रेट ज्यादा होगा, या फिर ह्यूमिडिटी जब कम है तब ट्रांसपिरेशन का रेट ज्यादा होगा? यस, when there is the atmosphere is already humid matlab the water vapor is already present in the atmosphere and it is like totally saturated, we can say. Yes, most amount of water vapor is already present in the atmosphere. तो सबसे ज्यादा अगर atmosphere में water vapor है तो it will not be able to hold uh, much more amount of water, है ना? तो much more amount of water वो अगर hold नहीं कर पाएंगे तो transpiration rate को वो lower कर देंगे, right? Yes, so we can see over here that humidity is basically inversely proportional to the rate of transpiration. जब humidity कम रहेगा, जब air dry रहेगा, तो transpiration बहुत जल्दी जल्दी होगा, right? It will be very fast. But when there is already humidity is there or water vapor is present in the atmosphere, the transpiration rate will be lowered down or reduced. Clear है up to this much? Now let's move on to the velocity of the wind. अभी आप यही देखो कि when do you think कि transpiration ज़्यादा होता है? When the wind is moving very fast or when the wind is just stagnant, it is still, there is no movement of the air and all. Yes. अगर मान लो कि this is a leaf, this is a leaf and transpiration will take place through this in the air. तो अभी मान लो कि when the air is not moving, when the air is not moving, the amount of water vapor droplets will be there present on the upper surface of the leaf. उसमें क्या होगा? Definitely when it is not moving or not swept out from that region, ज्यादा से ज्यादा तो वाटर वेपर और लॉस नहीं हो सकते ना, क्योंकि इसी ऊपर का रीजन तो ऑलरेडी ऑक्यूपाइड बाय द वाटर वेपर है. दिस इज ऑलरेडी ऑक्यूपाइड बाय द वाटर वेपर एंड मच अमाउंट ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन विल नॉट टेक प्लेस, राइट. नाउ थिंक अबाउट अ वेरी हाई विंड. तो ये विंड क्या करेंगे? ऑल द वाटर वेपर विल बी स्वेप्ट आउट. यस, इट विल बी स्वेप्ट अवे फ्रॉम दैट रीजन. वो बाहर कोई दूसरा रीजन में वाटर वेपर चले जाएंगे एंड what will happen? इस region will be very much free from the water vapor. और इधर जब water vapor नहीं रहेंगे तो most बहुत जल्दी जल्दी इधर से transpiration होगा ताकि वो water vapor को फिर से like it will move from the upper surface of the leaves, right? Got the idea? So this velocity of the wind, basically whenever the velocity is very high, transpiration rate will also be very high, and when the velocity of the wind is very low, transpiration rate will also be very much limited. Clear? Now next is very easy, that is the availability of the soil. तो soil water in the soil. तो soil में जब ज़्यादा water होगा तभी तो root will be absorbed it and it will go to the stem and to the leaves and तभी तो water loss होगा, है ना. और अगर पानी ही नहीं है soil में तो the water will not get lost from the plant body, right? And even if it doesn't get a proper amount of water, what will happen? The wilting of the leaves will take place. Finally it will dry up and it will fall down, right? So availability of the water is also very important for the rate of transpiration. And the last one is the carbon dioxide. The increase in the level of carbon dioxide basically helps to close the stomatal pore, and that is why transpiration rate also decreases during the presence of more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now this is very important that atmospheric pressure में कैसे transpiration rate vary करते हैं. देखो, whenever there is, this is the leaf and there is already a pressure from the atmosphere, तो वो क्या करेंगे? It will stop the transpiration to happen, right? So it will reduce the diffusion. फाइन. एंड व्हेन देयर इज वेरी लेस एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर, कोई प्रेशर ही नहीं है, तो वो बहुत फ्रीली, बहुत आराम से ये डिफ्यूजन होगा वाटर वेपर का, एंड द ट्रांसपिरेशन रेट विल आल्सो बी हाई. क्लियर? Yes everyone, I guess all of you have cleared your concept, right? So these are all the different external factors which basically helps to like regulate the rate of the transpiration. Okay, transpiration will always be more in a sunny day when temperature is high. Opening and closing of the stomata is taking place very easily when the wind is blowing in a high velocity. Here we will see that the transpiration rate will be very much high. Okay, now let's move on to the last topic of today, that is the internal factors. क्या क्या internal factors के ऊपर depend करते हैं ट्रांसपीरेशन। फर्स्ट है ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ द लीफ। लीफ अगर एक के ऊपर और एक लीफ ऐसे ऐसे ओरिएंटेड रहेगा तो दे आर नॉट एक्सपोज्ड टू द air, right? They are not exposed to the air atmosphere properly, and that is why definitely the transpiration rate will be very less. But the leaf is, if it is there in the right angle position or the right angled angle like this, and it is basically absorbing the like the sunlight is falling on them and it is directly in contact with the atmosphere, obviously the transpiration rate will be high. Yes. Now coming to the second one, the water status. This I have already mentioned that pani jab zyada rahega, definitely it will absorb more and more water. Then it will go to the leaves and finally transpiration rate will be more. And अगर पानी कम रहेगा तो absorption भी कम होगा and transpiration rate भी कम होगा. Fine. Next is the peculiarities of the leaves. There are various leaves which are having their peculiarities. Like think about the leaves of desert region. Think about the leaf of this cactus. क्या हो गया? Leaves are modified into spines, right? And that is why transpiration is checked over there. Yeah, transpiration doesn't take place properly. Yes, because they have to store the water within the plant body. क्योंकि desert region में पानी उतना मिलता नहीं है, right? So definitely this is the peculiarity of the leaf, and other different peculiarities are also there, the wavy leaves and all, which basically control the rate of transpiration. And the last but not the least, that is very important, is the distribution of the stomata. कितना number of stomata रहेंगे इसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कितना ज्यादा ट्रांसपिरेशन होगा. ज्यादा स्टोमाटा मतलब ज्यादा ओपनिंग ऑफ द स्टोमाटा मतलब ज्यादा ट्रांसपिरेशन होगा. वेरी लेस अमाउंट ऑफ स्टोमाटा मतलब ट्रांसपिरेशन का रेट भी बहुत कम होगा उस प्लांट से. राइट? अप टू दिस मच क्लियर आई गेस? यस, एनी क्वेश्चन? Now let us discuss some of the question. Let me give you these question as homework. Okay, so because these are the broad question, we cannot discuss it in the chat box, so I'll not tell you to write it in the chat box. First question is lenticular transpiration kya hai, and one major difference between lenticular transpiration and stomatal transpiration. ओके, तो आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू द आइडिया कि लेंटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन के डेफिनेशन में आप ये लिखोगे कि व्हाट इज लेंटिकल्स एंड वेयर दीज आर प्रेजेंट, एंड द ट्रांसपिरेशन थ्रू दिस लेंटिकल्स आर बेसिकली नोन एज द लेंटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन. Now, what is the difference between lenticular and stomatal transpiration? Stomatal transpiration takes place through the stomata, and maximum 90 to 95% transpiration takes place through the stomatal transpiration. And lenticular transpiration में transpiration बहुत कम होता है. It can be 2 to 5% of the transpiration takes place through the lenticels. Second difference आप ये बोल सकते हो कि opening and the closing of the stomata takes place, और उसके ऊपर depend करता है stomatal transpiration. ओके ये डिपेंड करता है बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स के ऊपर, मेनली डे टाइम, टेम्परेचर, ह्यूमिडिटी, उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. बट लेंटिसेल्स आर ऑलवेज ओपन्ड, इसीलिए लेंटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन होता है जो लेंटिसेल्स है वो बहुत ऑलवेज ओपन रहता है, बट बहुत कम रेट में होता है. ओके, coming to the next question, that is three major factors that accelerate the rate of the transpiration, जो transpiration का rate को बढ़ा देते हैं. Okay, what can be the 3 points? Anybody? Any one point you can write it down in the chat box. Let me see who can give me correct answer quickly. What are the different factors? It can be external or internal factor, anything which increase or accelerate the rate of transpiration, जो transpiration का rate को fast कर देते हैं. Quickly give the answer in the chat box, beta. Yes, first we can say that presence of sunlight. Yes, और क्या बोल सकते हैं हम? सनलाइट जब ज्यादा होगा ट्रांसपिरेशन ज्यादा होगा. और क्या फैक्टर हो सकते हैं? यस, हाई वेलोसिटी ऑफ विंड. विंड जब बहुत ज्यादा वेलोसिटी से ब्लो करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली ट्रांसपिरेशन ज्यादा होगा. यस, हाई वेलोसिटी ऑफ विंड. एंड एनीथिंग एल्स? ड्राई कंडीशन मतलब जहां जब ह्यूमिडिटी बहुत कम होगा, ओके, द ड्राई कंडीशन में भी ट्रांसपिरेशन ज्यादा होता है। ओके, दीज आर द थ्री फैक्टर्स व्हिच कैन एक्सेलरेट द रेट ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन। क्लियर है? यस। Now, let us move on to the next question. Briefly say how the rate of transpiration is affected by intensity of light and humidity of the atmosphere. I have already mentioned in the previous question also कि intensity of the light मतलब sunlight जब ज़्यादा रहेगा rate of transpiration ज़्यादा होगा, fast होगा, बहुत fast होगा, and sunlight जब कम रहेगा तो rate of transpiration will be slowed down. Okay, and definitely the humidity of the atmosphere, ह्यूमिडिटी जब ज्यादा होगा रेट ऑफ ट्रांसपिरेशन कम हो जाएंगे, एंड ह्यूमिडिटी जब नहीं होगा या फिर ड्राइड कंडीशन होगा ट्रांसपिरेशन का रेट बढ़ जाएंगे। अंडरस्टूड? Yes, so these are all about the factors. Let us now see what we have already studied in today's session. So mainly we have discussed about, I'm giving you a very small summary of this session. We have studied about the three main types of transpiration, that is the stomatal transpiration, cuticular transpiration and लेंटिक्यूलर ट्रांसपिरेशन, जो स्टोमाटा से क्यूटिकल से और लेंटिसेल से होता है रिस्पेक्टिवली। Then we have studied about uh, the rate of transpiration which increases due to the intensity of the sunlight, the higher temperature, velocity of the wind जब ज़्यादा रहेगा, and dry air जहाँ रहेगा, right? And also the other factors which increases or decreases the rate of transpiration. Fine. Now let me give you one fact that many xeric plant का मतलब क्या है? The desert plant. Okay, the plants which are found in the desert region, जैसे you can say the date palm, the cactus and all, they have very small leaves या फिर silvery reflective leaves रहता है या फिर hairy leaves रहता है, and also produce the essential oils. ये सारे different तरीके का leaves क्यों रहता है? Why? Because all these strategies are due to reducing the rate of transpiration over there, क्योंकि उधर पानी बहुत कम मिलते हैं in the desert region, that and that is why they have to check the rate of transpiration. Okay, that is why they have the varieties of different shapes and different types of leaves found in the xeric plant या फिर desert plant, right? Now, let us summarize the chapter. Today we have studied about the types of transpiration, that is stomatal, lenticular and cuticular transpiration, and then we have mentioned about the different factors which affect the different rate of transpiration. जैसे बहुत सारे external factors and internal factors हमने already like detail में explain कर दिया, right? So do you have any question? Anything, any doubt in your mind? I guess that you have already understood whatever we have discussed in today's session, right? Yes, so thank you very much for being with us till the end of the session. Thanks a lot, and we will again meet in the next session. So before going, let me remind all of you that do subscribe our channel now, whoever have not subscribed till now. Okay, and press the bell icon and press you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. Okay, so you will get the notification and you can be present in all the session, and we can interact again. We can discuss a lot of different type of information, okay, a lot of different type of topics of science. So do like, comment and share, also share with your friends and family members, they will also get the same benefit, and also we will meet in the next session then. Okay, so till then, bye bye, take care, stay safe and stay healthy.